Scholars, as I mentioned in the course introduction, the majority of the work you do this semester will all relate to one semester-long research project. This video is designed to help you understand this project and its requirements. Your final research article will be written in IMRAD format. IMRAD stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. The introduction provides background on the topic and the research question, including a review of the previous research conversation. The methods section describes how the primary research was conducted. The results section reports the findings of the primary research, and the discussion section interprets the results and discusses their own implications. As part of this project, you will first complete 2 additional assignments, a literature review, where you introduce previous scholarly research surrounding the topic, and a research proposal, where you plan your primary research. You will later revise the literature review as part of the introduction section of your final research article, and the research proposal as your method section. Your role in this project will be as a novice researcher in the field of writing and rhetoric. Writing and rhetoric is a field of study or an academic discipline that focuses on how people create and use texts and persuasive communication strategies. ENC 1101 serves as an introduction to the field of writing and rhetoric, but if you didn't take 1101 here at UCF, your early research should help introduce you to the needed concepts, and you can always use office hours for more help. Your research question should be related to the writing and rhetoric, framed by writing and rhetoric theories, and answerable through textual analysis. If you want to use ChatGPT to help generate possible research questions, be sure to include the above requirements in your prompt, and remember to practice academic honesty by indicating how these outside apps were used. For secondary research, you will do minimal popular research for background, but you'll focus mostly on scholarly research through the UCF library to identify related theories, studies, or conversations that may further contextualize your findings. Many of the upcoming project planning assignments will focus on you gathering, citing, summarizing, and synthesizing secondary sources. For primary research, you will conduct population sampling of written texts, then code and analyze those texts to gather both quantitative and qualitative data. You'll use this data to answer your final research question. Finally, you will present and analyze your research results in an IMRAD-style research article. Research writing is a highly recursive process. Recursive is the opposite of linear. It means revisiting earlier steps in your process multiple times and using new insights to lead in new directions in your research or writing. Stay open-minded throughout your process and be willing to delete or add new sources and new ideas as you discover new things. One of your upcoming assignments is to read at least 2 student examples of IMRAD-style research articles and summarize and reflect on them. Use this assignment to help you cement your understanding of the research project. The following 3 examples were written for my class and are especially useful for modeling my expectations. Your research project must include a minimum of 8 scholarly secondary sources, including some from the field of writing and rhetoric, and primary research in the form of textual or rhetorical analysis, including gathering a sample of primary texts and coding those primary texts to identify and count specific rhetorical or textual features. You will read more about the differences between primary and secondary sources next week, but briefly, secondary sources offer arguments, evidence, or context relating to your topic and define theories or models for your primary research. You will gather and report on these sources in your literature review. Primary sources are sources you interact with directly that are not being interpreted by another author. When you gather evidence from primary sources, you are gathering new data, not evidence that has been gathered by another author. Your research question should be about how rhetoric is used within a specific population of primary texts. You will plan your primary research in your research proposal and report and analyze on the findings on your primary research in your final article. Your semester research project must be answerable through the use of textual analysis as primary research. Textual analysis involves close reading and interpretation of a text, as well as contextualization and analysis of the text within the broader social, cultural, and historical contexts in which it was produced and used. Textual analysis can provide valuable insights into the ways in which texts reflect the attitudes, beliefs, and values of the people who create and consume them. You will need to gather a representative sample of texts and then analyze them using both qualitative and quantitative methods. You can use just about any kind of text that you can gather a representative sample of and code and analyze for rhetorical features. This can include social media posts, websites, speeches, or documents from educational, government, or professional organizations. In high school, when you analyzed novels, poems, and plays, you were engaging in primary research and a form of textual analysis. However, artistic works and works designed for entertainment usually use a different theoretical framework than the ones that we're using in the field of writing and rhetoric. It's more difficult to analyze art, entertainment using rhetorical theories. I therefore do not recommend using artistic works or works designed for entertainment, such as songs, video games, movies, or books. However, you can do related nonfiction texts, such as musician or director interviews, online video game fandom, or movie or book reviews. Your research question should be about a specific kind of text. The following research question is from a student research project. Notice how you can predict which text will be studied based on the question. The question is, what common rhetorical features do Instagram's mommy bloggers utilize to make QAnon's belief systems palatable? And the primary text being analyzed were Instagram posts from QAnon mommy bloggers. You can use the following template to build your starting research question. How does X use rhetoric? Would be the main question. And what values or ideologies does that reflect or promote would be a sub-question. Where X is an individual, an organization, or a community. And rhetoric equals language or communication choices. A broader formula for generating a research question is topic of interest plus theoretical framework. In the next slideshow, we'll talk more about using theories to frame your research project and developing your research questions.